Hey guys and gals, Xavier here for Hum of the Earth, signing in from the northernmost province of South Africa, Limpopo. I've just spent the last 2.5 months cycling through South Africa. I've had a great time, a pretty exhaustive journey through the country, checking out all manner of environments and cultures, bicycling from Cape Town, going along the garden route to all the way to Port Elizabeth, then inland through the Eastern Cape to Lesotho, then to Durban, up the north coast to St. Lucia, then up inland some more through KwaZulu-Natal, and through Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland, then through Mpumalanga and Limpopo. And it's been a great trip. And since I'm nearing my journey through the country, it is time for a little reflection. And in this video, I will attempt to answer the question, is South Africa safe to travel? And just for posterity's sake, I should mention that I was here from beginning of May all the way through the end of, close to the end of August. And one thing I should say is that South Africa is the country where I think by far, received the most warnings by people about safety. And I've bicycled through many countries that on paper would be considered dangerous, such as most of Central America, like El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Latin America as well, so Mexico, Colombia, etc., etc. So to get the most warnings here is definitely a feat. Things like this, you're very brave to do this, it's a very dangerous country, or even you shouldn't do it at all. And the reason people tell me this is because they say that it's very likely that I'm going to get robbed in South Africa, and that in the course of getting robbed, it's possible that a violent altercation could ensue. But in my lengthy time in South Africa, not one criminal occurrence happened to me. But I am not saying that you should keep your guard down when traveling through South Africa. In fact, when I was in Durban, a girl in the dorm of the backpackers that I stayed at, her and her friend, I think they were from Europe somewhere, anyways, two white blonde girls were robbed right in downtown Durban, which I had been warned about Durban. Thankfully, nothing happened to me. But just an example that kind of, that and other factors lead me to believe that the violence and theft in South Africa is a real issue that you do have to be aware of and take precautions. Something you'll notice in the country is that everything is under lock and key, at the very least, if not lock and key, and then fence, high barbed wire fences, and cameras, alarm systems, etc. And people that I've stayed with in South Africa say that theft is very common. And because South Africa is a pretty expensive country to travel through, especially when you talk about accommodations, this meant that I spent a lot of time camping and also wild camping. So this is camping in just kind of wherever you can find, like a farmer's field or in the forest or something like that, where you don't have really security or someone watching over you, which a lot of South Africans would probably really not recommend. And to be honest, I wouldn't really recommend it either. I just decided to do it because I have significant experience in wild camping, and also just in my process of finding a place, I do typically check off a lot of boxes in terms of a safe spot. So not being somewhere where you think there could be foot traffic or that someone could see you, so really out of sight, and not trying to make any noise or light after it's dark. And just in general, when I travel, I do keep safety in mind when giving people information that I don't fully trust, and just being a good judge of character as well. And also just keeping my eyes open and making sure that I'm not hanging out in areas where I sense something potentially could go awry. As well as concealing your valuables, so as much as possible. So basically not trying to make them visible to people in general when you're especially when you're going into poorer areas of South Africa, which there are a lot of. I think potentially one of the reasons why there's a considerable amount of theft in South Africa is because although there are parts of the country, certain neighborhoods where people are well off, there's still a lot of areas, even in big cities, where people will have next to nothing. So therein lies the causation for some of the theft, probably. So to try to answer this question is very difficult because everyone has different risk tolerances. There is a seemingly very real risk of theft in South Africa, but I think if you know that going in and you take precautions, especially if you've been traveling and you have certain kind of safety routines that you follow, then that risk gets smaller and smaller. So I definitely wouldn't say it's completely safe, and I wouldn't say that if you're interested in South Africa that you shouldn't go either. And if you don't know too much about South Africa and you're wondering what are these attractions or things that would make me want to visit South Africa, well, I have another video coming up on the channel called Best Places to Visit in South Africa, so you can check that as well. Probably be putting a link to it in this video's description. And if you're new to the channel, South Africa was my first country that I bicycled through in my journey attempting to bicycle through Africa. So from Cape Town, South Africa, all the way to Cairo, Egypt. And before this journey, I bicycled from Canada, where I'm from, to southern Patagonia in Argentina. So bicycling through North, Central, and South America. And all of those videos are available on this very same channel. And if you'd like to see an interactive map of everywhere that I went and everything that I did, I have that available over at my website, followthehumoftheearth.com, where you can click on the different locations and see the blog posts and videos I've made of these places. And if you'd like to follow my continuing adventures bicycling through Africa, you can click on the red subscribe button below the video and click on the bell to be notified when new videos come out. Hope you guys enjoyed or were informed by this video, and hope to see you soon. Have a good one.